This week on Maker Update, wearable microphone jammers, reinventing retro tech, moving mirrors, 3D printed turntables, digital Super 8, and a circuit sculpture radio. Hey everybody, I'm Donald Bell, and welcome back to another Maker Update. Hope you're all doing well, and maybe even getting a taste of that post-vaccine life. I've got a lot of cool stuff to catch you up on. Let's get started with the project of the week. Do you ever think about how many devices there are around you with microphones that could potentially be listening in on what you're saying? It's enough to make anyone a little paranoid. One countermeasure you can take is to jam any nearby microphones by overwhelming them with ultrasonic noise. It's a technique outlined in a recent research project at the University of Chicago. For their proof of concept, they created a wearable array of ultrasonic transducers formed into a bracelet. It works, and in the article I'll link to, you can find the source code, bill of materials, and 3D printed files to recreate the project on your own. It's an Arduino-based project, and actually, most of the instruction on recreating it is included in the Arduino code annotations. Feeling inspired, Naomi Wu created a new spin on the project with this stylized choker. Not only does it look cooler, but its proximity to your mouth might make it more effective at masking your voice. To test this out, Naomi recorded the interference using different microphones, a clip-on lav mic, her smartphone, and a shotgun camera mic. It seemed effective on everything except the shotgun mic, which is probably a better optimized microphone against ultrasonic interference. Still, it's a great project that may ease your fears over Big Brother just a little. Now for some news. Hackaday has launched a fun new contest called Reinvented Retro. The idea is to create something with a mix of old and new technology, maybe reinvent some old tech with new features, or give some new tech a vintage look. The contest is sponsored by Digikey and ends on June 28th. The top 3 projects will be awarded a $200 shopping spree to the Digikey warehouse. Also, on Monday, Arduino announced that their new board, the Arduino Nano RP2040 Connect, is now available for purchase. This is Arduino's adaptation of the Raspberry Pi 2040 chip found on the Pi Pico board. It also includes Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a microphone, 6-axis IMU, 264 kilobytes of SRAM, and 16 megabytes of flash memory for extra storage. If you like the idea of the Pico but wish it had some extra bells and whistles, this could be the board for you. Arduino has it priced around $25. Now for more projects. This one's from a few years ago, but I saw it pop up on the Make blog and realized that I hadn't covered it. It's an interactive array of hexagonal mirrors created by Adam Cigler and Petr Vacek. It's called Reflection, and it was made in the Prusa Lab workshop in the Czech Republic. It uses a mixture of 3D printing, CNC cut plywood, and a large steel frame to hold everything together. Behind each mirror is a pair of servos which work to tilt the mirror in any direction. All of these servos ultimately connect up to 6 Raspberry Pi computers which work in sync to animate the mirrors. It looks incredible. Charlie Ransford's The Songbird is an educational 3D printable turntable kit. It's a cool looking design and of course requires a fair bit of extra hardware to make it a practical turntable. But if you like the idea of printing and assembling your own turntable, they've got a Kickstarter going so that you can buy a kit. Over on Hackaday, Xabi Z shows how he was able to retrofit an old Super 8 camera with the Raspberry Pi Zero and a camera module. The trick to this seems to be mounting the Raspberry Pi camera. To be able to take advantage of the existing lens and preserve the Super 8 look, Xabi popped the lens off of the Pi camera module and mounted the raw sensor where the film would normally be exposed. Because the Pi sensor is much smaller than the Super 8 film that would normally be there, the image is cropped in, but it works. Finally, you have to check out this fully functional FM radio circuit sculpture by Mohipote. He calls it the Chin2 FM. It's got a cute little robot look to it and a capacitive pad on the side for changing the station. A speaker makes up the base with a stylish milled veneer grill on the front. The hardware is all very approachable. An Adafruit Itsy Bitsy board, a 7-segment display, a small audio amp, and a Philips T5767 FM radio chipset. What's incredible is the design and the execution. It's just beautiful to look at. Now for some tips and tools. On Tested, Jen Schachter goes through her soldering setup. She goes over a few of her favorite helping hand solutions and shows off a great solder fume extractor from a brand called Kato. I actually have a little desktop fume fan that I enjoy from this same brand. This one though is deluxe and can be positioned right over your work. It has an adjustable fan and an optional HEPA filter that seems to do a good job capturing the smoke instead of just blowing it around your room. In his latest video, Eric Strebel shows you how to get a super glossy professional finish on your prototype parts. He goes from 3D print to primer and then back and forth with increasing grits of wet sanding, tack cloth, base color coat, a clear top coat, more sanding, and then buffing it all out with some 3M purple polish. It's a long way to go for a finish like this, but it's great to know that it can be done and how to get there. If you're making a prototype that needs to look good on a Kickstarter video close-up, this is a skill worth developing. That said, it's also good to know how to make things look beat up. Emily Velasco has a great short video on how to make 3D prints take on the look of distressed metal. It's an easier effect that you can achieve with just a few cans of spray paint, some sanding, and some Vaseline. For this week's Digikey Spotlight on Adafruit, Lady Ada shows how to find alternatives to out-of-stock parts on Digikey. For the past few weeks, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about part supplies being bought up and brokers trying to resell them at huge markups. Using an example part, Lamore walks through how to use the similar part finder included on Digikey's product pages. Oftentimes, there are plenty of fish in the sea. They may not have the same part number or exactly the same specs, but an alternative may exist that can save your project. Check it out. And that does it for this week's show. Be sure to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. Thinking back on that project of the week in the Audio Jammer Tech, what other kinds of devices could we make to protect our privacy? You can get on the Maker Update email list so that you can keep up with the show. A big thanks to my patrons on Patreon and to Digikey Electronics for making the whole show possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.